your name for the record, please.
Victor Nunez.
Okay, and you have heard from you can hear your attorney, correct?
Yes, yes, I can.
And you can also see your attorney, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and so counsel, as to the arraignment.
We will stand mute, Your Honor, and wait for formal reading.
Court will wait the formal reading. Sorry, just one moment. Okay, and so you do have the right to have an attorney. If you cannot afford one, the court will appoint one to represent you. And in fact, you've availed yourself of your right to an attorney and you've retained counsel, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You also have the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to have a trial by a judge or by a jury. And you also have the right to remain silent. Anything you say orally or in writing may be used against you in court.
Yes,
You understand all those rights, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
The court's going to enter a plea of not guilty on your behalf. Schedule this matter for probable cause conference on September 14th at 8:40 a.m. And counsel asks to bond, and then I will hear from Detective Haskin.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Nunez lives across the street from me. I've known him for several years. He's a personal friend. I have to say, rarely would I say this, but we've actually known about this case for a little bit. He was saving up money to walk himself in, but he knew his bond potentially for the detective was rather high, so he needed some money. As it turns out, they went and picked him up. He turned himself in willingly, totally cooperative, retained me on this case for several months already. I think Mr. Nunez is one of those defendants who appears pretty bad on paper because he's obviously it's a fourth time a bit. About 10, 12 years ago, he got involved in an identity theft situation. He had 2 convictions based on that. Actually, I think he had 3, but it's mostly concerning the same amount of time. He did all his probation. He paid all his restitution, really turned his life around, works at the Dollar General. I mean, he's not a flight risk. The man walks to work, walks home. We tried to negotiate not having any charges in this case. He just couldn't raise the money to potentially pay the victim back because we weren't even going to submit on this, or the police department wasn't. He just couldn't get the money together. So I said all that to say, I think this is a case where maybe the paper doesn't fit the actual person. He's a good guy, and he can't afford to lose his job. So I'm asking that the court, consider a lower bond. I know they're going to ask for $25,000 with the tether. There's no way he can afford that. That's essentially a demand, and he would lose his job. I like having him around. He's a great neighbor and a really great guy. So I'm just going to ask the court to consider a lower bond.
Okay. All right, and Detective?
Your Honor, due to the charges, the seriousness of the charges, as well as Nunez's criminal history, he has several felonies on his criminal history, and the fact that he had to be arrested and brought here on his warrant, I have concerns that he will not come back to court after this, so I'm requesting $25,000 cash bond with GPS Heather.
Okay. And so, Mr. Nunez, you work at Dollar General?
Yes, I do, ma'am.
And you were hired given your criminal history?
Yes, ma'am, I was. I passed my background check, everything. Before that, I was at Amazon, but I lost that job, lost my cars, couldn't afford to pay them, because a lot of things been happening in our family, so. But I still have been, I'm working, and I managed to keep my head above water. I just want to get this taken care of. I don't want to lose the job. I'm not a flight risk. I've known about this for a year, have not flown, have not gone anywhere, will not go anywhere. I just want to get it taken care of. when I was on probation, I didn't run. I took care of that. I met all my responsibilities. And just stupidity. I'm 60 years old and I've made a stupid mistake and I'm willing to pay for that. I just, you know,
Okay,
I don't.
so Mr. Nunez, okay, let me just indicate that one of the purposes of bond, okay, there's multiple purposes of bond. One of them is to protect the public, right?
Correct.
And this is now your third type of offense with the same charge. And yeah, while that's great, that you've completed everything on probation, you haven't run, you've shown up for everything. Quite frankly, it appears as though the rehabilitative goals were not met while you're on probation.
Doesn't seem like it, man, but it has been. I don't even know the words or what to say, to be completely frank, but I do a lot of good things for my community, and it was something that was just.
What is it you do for your community that you're indicating that you do?
I believe I'm a good person. I don't beat up people. I try to talk to the kids, as far as all the stuff that's going on with the sex trafficking, that kind of stuff, anybody that comes into my store that's a young person, I try to talk to them.
Back up for a moment. You talk to young people about sex trafficking?
Because I saw that movie, that what was it called? And it just you see a lot of kids running around the streets, not doing anything by themselves. I'm like, hey, everything okay? I just talk to people. I make sure that they understand things are bad. Things are bad right now.
Hey, Victor, I got it. I know what you're talking about. So
yeah.
The Oviati family, which we're well aware of, Victor Nunez is Jack Oviati's stepdad. And they've become born again Christians. They're really into their church right now, really into, and as you know, that movie Sound of Freedom is a new movie that's come out. And it's very popular in the Christian community. They're very concerned with sex trafficking and what's going on. So I think that's where that's coming from. He's trying to be a good citizen and more really kids on sex trafficking. I think it came out pretty bad. But I will say this: there's two purposes of bond. One is to avoid flight risk. That's what the cost of bond is for, and the conditions of bond are to protect the community. Michigan Supreme Court sets up. I don't think he's actually dangerous to the community. And if so, we could put conditions on, knowing, Heather, something along those lines will sit in jail. I don't think that's going to help anybody.
Well, it would potentially help his employer, because Mr. Nunez seems to have a history of this type of behavior.
Well, Your Honor, the original charges from before were, he got involved in an identity theft situation, and he totally recanted that. In fact, he helped me when my identity was stolen, helped me give me some pointers on how I could track that person down. And this involved, I believe, and I'm not going to get into the facts of the case. I encourage Mr. Nunez to not as well. This involved a situation where I believe Mr. Nunez has a bit of a gambling addiction. So I'd like to see him perhaps be ordered to Gamblers Anonymous treatment meetings. I think that would be enough to protect any danger to the community. His employer obviously knows about it.
His employer knows about your client's gambling issues?
That I don't know, but they fired him. I mean, he's been working. How long have you been working there, Victor?
Right now, going on months, almost a month, 2 months.
Okay, sir, when did you start? Is it 1 month, 2 months?
It's going on 2 months, ma'am. I was at Family Dollar prior to that, and from Family Dollar, I got more hours at Dollar General and just moved there. They saw, they liked my work history at the other place, and they're like, "You want to come here?" I was like, "Yeah, it's more hours, more money."
Sir,
Thank you.
what was your start date?
My start date was, we're in August, was July, I want to say July 1st. So I'm on my 4th check. So that puts me right at about a month and a half.
Okay, the court will also note though that you have a 4th offense notice, habitual offender 4th offense, which means, sir, that because your primary offense is more than, is 5 years or more, you're looking at life in prison, sir. And that changes the things a bit for, making sure that you're appearing in court. And I understand your attorney is vouching for you. I do. However, given that this is now your 3rd felony charge, your fourth felony charge, all of which is involving theft and dishonesty, the court has some serious concerns for the safety of the public. And that you're going to appear now that you're facing life in prison.
I'm not going to run. I'm not going, I will appear.
The court's going to indicate a $50,000 10% bond. In the event you post bond, GPS tether. You are to participate in Gamblers Anonymous. Also, is your client's game of choice online, at the casino?
You have to ask Mr. Nunez that. Mr. Nunez, how do you prefer to gamble?
It was online. Online, so it was online, ma'am. Hello?
Yeah, we heard you.
No, I heard you. I'm sorry, my math is not great today. Not 50,000, 10%, 100,000, 10%. And in the event, what type of phone do you have, sir? Do you have a smartphone?
It was just a regular Android phone, ma'am.
Right, but it's a smartphone.
Yes,
You can
yes,
access
yes.
online. Right. Okay, well, Detective, do you know, are there any methods, or is there anything that, what's it called? You can do like parental controls. Are there any of those so that, that you're aware of that would prevent Mr. Nunez
Yes.
from accessing?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if we could lock his phone, we could say no access to the internet. It's a little tough to enforce, but he could also, I mean, if he's going to Gamblers Anonymous, I'm sure there'll be some accountability there as well.
Okay, so I'm going to indicate $100,000 10% bond, GPS tether. You're to participate in Gamblers Anonymous. You're not to participate in any online gambling sites or games, sir, at all. That's the event you post bond. Not to possess, consume any alcohol or drugs not prescribed, and you're not to return to, what was that, CC coins or?
Yes, sure.
I don't, yeah.
All right, anything else?
So I have your honor.
All right. Thank you. The court will provide your client with a copy of the bond conditions.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Okay, have a good day.
Victor, you want me to call Tracy?
Off the record.
You want me to call Tracy, Victor?
Oh, He,
Oh, is he muted?
no,
Yes,
I'll call it. All right,
caller, thank you.
no problem.
thank you.
Thanks, sir. You can back us out. Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome.